The problem isn't the ability to take charge and to take care of business and do the necessary, right? Because sometimes life does really require that, right? And alphas need to make those tough decisions. The difference is how it's done. The difference is whether or not a power is abused in the process or people are empowered. That's the difference, because we really do need this strong leadership. We need this type of masculine energy to rise up and lead with integrity. And it takes a great deal of courage and competency in order to lead in that way. You know, we need our knights, we need our kings. We need them to be able to be really masculine when that time comes and needed. Now, abuse of power and violence for violence sake, that's the problem. That's the problem. But if someone is rising up and taking care of something in order to protect other people, that's not the problem. That's a solution. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I totally agree with that.
masculine aggression isn't the issue. It's how it's directed and how it's utilized. If it's taking power from others and abusing power instead of empowering, then it's a problem.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it's a solution.
totally. I totally see that. And I have a question, because this is also something I've seen a lot when it comes to men's development, and when it comes to all this culture of, I can especially see it in the pickup culture, as the message that's there referred to is like, do you want to get a woman, you have to be an alpha. And then there are also like all these traits that they are trying to bring and define, and then people like men just trying to fake all these traits and try to put them in themselves. And it just feels like so weird. Like if you meet a pickup guy, like I've gone through that. I've totally been that, and I've tried to put on, some of the pickup traits in me, and it just feels like, okay, like first, this is not me, and second, it's just fucking it up, and third, this is like, how the hell can this just even help or work in whatever way? So
Yeah.
when it comes to speaking about alpha in that sense, I do see a little bit of a problem when it comes to men trying to be or fitting in those traits instead of just connecting with themselves and evolving naturally in that direction.
Well, that's a perfect example of the misconception around the word alpha, because that's not alpha behavior. That's weird. I mean, it's not that unsimilar to nice guy behavior, right?
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing as far as, okay, I'm going to act this way, which is still inauthentic in order to get this outcome. So it's manipulative. So it's either way, it's not alpha, it's fake. They're just taking a different approach. One approach is acting like a doormat to get approval. And the other approach is to just take what you want, right? Which, doesn't always work. The problem is it does work with some situations, right? If you're dealing with someone who's not in their power, you're dealing with anybody who's got daddy issues and unhealed wounds, right? If you got anybody who's just really insecure and wants someone to take charge, and they feel that excitement of polarity, right? It was like, oh, this guy can take charge. Oh, I can feel safe with this guy, right? But for anything long term, it's not going to happen. But that's the problem. That's why we even still have this concept of fuck boys. It's because it works. It works because it's allowed to happen, right? So I don't have to deal with that anymore because I don't allow it. But there's still a lot of women out there that allow it because they don't know better. They think that that's going to get them what they want. And that's why men are behaving this way, because they think it's going to get them what they want. But the truth is, they've never really deeply asked themselves what they really want. They're usually just reacting to their own sense gratification, right? To their own basic primal needs, right? They're not looking at like, oh, I'm going to take care of this woman. I'm going to connect with this woman. No, they're like, I want to have sex with this woman. So alphas are very much long game plan strategizers, right? A true alpha prioritizes their goals and their time. They prioritize everything in their life, right? So if they have an agenda, it's going to be clearly laid out. It's not just like, oh, I'm reacting to my sexual needs right now. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that isn't a part of it, but that might be a place in that man's life if he's got everything else together that is still inconsistent, incongruent, needs some integration, needs some healing, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's important to say here for all our listeners also that human evolution and maturity, it's so complex. Like we have so many different areas of that. We can be even we can feel like the most secure and the most confident in one aspect of ourselves when we
Right.
show up in one area, or when we are doing just our work, or we are doing like whatever comes to us naturally, and then be totally incompetent and feel super vulnerable in something, in somewhere where it's just something new to us and we've never tried. And so human evolution, it's very complex, but still there is like this, at the end, it's this attitude of being able to open to that experience and having self-control and being open to learn and grow and expand through uncertainty, and being able
Right.
to hold uncertainty.
Mhm. Absolutely. It's interesting that both certainty and uncertainty are basic human needs.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
want I want to go back. I want to go back to the question of the alpha, right? Getting his needs. One thing that I thought was really interesting that I learned in the past couple of years is that true alphas always seek other alphas for partnership, right? Because let's be real, no matter how casual or invested our sexual relations are, any type of sexual experience is an exchange of energy. So a true alpha isn't just going to want to expend and throw away that energy like that, because he understands, like he or she understands that it's vital essence, it's vital energy, it's focus, it affects us whether we want it to or not. It's going to affect us. It's going to affect our health. It's going to affect our frequency, our electromagnetic field, and it can inadvertently affect even more than that depending upon how involved we get. And so a true alpha is not just going to go run around and stick his dick in whatever he can. No, he's going to really really protect his energy, as far as other things as well, his reputation, the way that he handles himself, he's going to take it seriously. And true alphas always seek out other alphas because they're looking for a long-term partnership. They're looking for someone that actually supports their life, not just someone that they can take advantage of, manipulate, use, or disregard.
When you say they seek other alphas, do you mean in relationships or in friendships?
Sometimes both, often both, right? Because they're consciously building their life, right? They're consciously creating their dreams. And so they're going to seek out people who are going to make that easier or even possible, right? And if you have an alpha who's clear in his vision, but he's attracting really unhealthy, wounded individuals, they're not going to help him on his path. They're going to drain him. They're going to distract him. They're going to, in many respects, ruin him, intentionally or unintentionally, because they're not going in the same direction. So yeah, alphas seek out other alphas for a reason, because our energy it's important. We have to protect it. right? And if we get to that point in our lives where we take responsibility for ourselves, we have control over our behavior, we're going to start expecting the same from the people that we invite into our inner circle. And as we should, right?